right? Am I understanding you?
Yeah, that's right. I got you. You are talking about the main topic that is going to change my whole class.
Correct. Yep. One thing. So I want to see the impact of reading for 10 minutes prior to, or finishing up the class with 10 minutes of reading, as opposed to not reading for 10 minutes at the end of class. Because you just want one thing that you're going to study the impact of, if that's where you're going with it.
Okay.
Ahmed, can I say something?
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
This is something that happened to me in my research with when I was in the course that you're doing now. I was so excited with so many different things that I wanted to do, and I was thinking about music and the role of formative assessment and feedback in music. And once I started thinking about it, I had so many cool ideas that I could do this and that. And it was like a constant back and forth with the instructor. And he's like, Nikki, you've got to cut it down. Like, and I don't think I realized until I started actually doing it, and that he was right. Like, and you have so many things that are so interesting. And once you start thinking about one question, that leads you to something else. And then also about this, the impact of formative assessment, and then feedback, and then the impact on student attitudes or progress or critical thinking or metacognition. And it just gets so big. But that's the one thing I would say to you, that I went through that kind of trying to narrow things down, and then I feeling like I couldn't. But he was right. And like once you start doing the study, and like everybody else has said, like the more specific your focus is, the easier it will be to see if it's working or not.
Thank you.
I also think that to help you be more specific, I struggled with that too. I had lots of ideas, like I said, and I couldn't focus, and I was starting to feel overwhelmed, and that's just not good for you to complete your study. So what did help is, first of all, like this, talking to someone who has gone through the process of it, who can give you words of advice. Second is to also pinpoint one particular area that you want to help, because you're going to get all your life, if you're really interested, to research as much as you want. But right now, in your current situation, what exactly do your participants or your students need help with? Or your teachers, like your group of teachers, what do they need help with? So figure out that one thing. Take your time to figure that out. Thankfully, you have a little more time. So figure that out, and then start thinking about how you can measure that. So if you're doing like a before and after, then a t-test, perfect. It'll just put in your values and you get that. If it's going to be qualitative, figure out how you are going to code it. There's some really good links online. I wish I could share that with you, but I don't know where it's gone. To code interviews and to code surveys, and you just start off with a general idea and then highlighting similar thoughts and that kind of. So there's easier ways to code, but again, keep it simple. The more you identify what you want to help improve or what you want to see the impact of, then it'll be easier to kind of, because right now I'm not able to figure out what exactly you are trying to look for. Do you know what I'm saying? So maybe try to like really squeeze in that issue that you want to look for, and then it'll look better. I'm telling you, it will look better.
Yeah, and I think it'll come to you. I mean, you're close, but you know, the more, you know, your next couple 3 classes, you know, you're going to. I mean, I did not have my idea literally until my last, you know, course. So dissertation, you don't take I mean, that is your class, right? But yeah, so like my last course, it was like, oh yeah, so, you know, that's okay too. Luciana, where'd you go? Is she still here? Okay, I was going to have her talk. I guess we lost her. Okay, but I do see Abayami. Do you want to, what we're doing is talking to the 5910 students about their experience with research. So is there anything, you know, you want to tell us about yourself, and then anything you want to ask about the research, the capstone process?
Well, well, nothing for now. It's been lovely hearing everyone. Well, I can't wait encountering or coming into the capstone session of the course. Yeah, so where everyone sharing experience in one form or the other is really being impactful. I teach music in Lagos. I was very impressed about what Nikki said about her approach, bringing out pedagogy approaches to music. A lot of time, I don't feel like teaching in classes. A lot of time, I look into the faces of the children. They want more. What is that thing I need to apply to make them understand me? And sometimes I change my method, or I change my teaching ambience, and I see results. And I ask myself the question, is it this thing I did, or I made them read before it, or was there something I said that really made the impact? I really don't know, but the most important thing is a lot of time I tweak, a lot of time I adjust, a lot of time I do some things that look magical, and I see results. And you know, hearing everyone's experience, I know, oh, I'm not the only magician in the house.
No, you're the only one. Sorry. No.
Thank you.
Yeah, good. Yeah, that's a great point. You know, that sometimes we do things and we don't know what actually helped. And so, you know, this research process is going to make you, even if you say, I don't ever want to do this again. Like, and I know people like that, you know, from my, that are, you know, have their doctorate, they're like, don't need to do it again. Me, I really enjoy it. But it's at least going to make you a better observer, and, you know, able to really hone in on what actually did make the difference. Now, Desi, I was going to ask you, Desi, we haven't heard from you. There's Luciana. Okay. Yeah, Desi, you want to?
Hello. Hi, everyone.
Hello.
Hello, nice to meet you all. I'm Desi from Indonesia, and well, it's not easy for me to have 5910. So my topic is about the impact of online learning on the character building education. And maybe if you heard the news that in Indonesia, due to the pandemic, we keep on doing online learning. But our school is actually struggling to have offline. So, and for my research, I do a survey, I do questionnaire, and I do interviews. And because about character building, and since the students are at home, so the impact of online learning on the character building, we rely on the parents' perspective of how their children are changing. And in the beginning of the research, I plan to have an interview with the teachers, and I did it. But then I decided in the end not include it, because during the Zoom meeting, during the online learning, the character building impact is not that significant. It's maybe not going to be valid for the teachers to say it. So the one that I include is actually the parents' perspective, because they know I got the data that the parents finally who got the impact of the negative impact of online learning. And I come from an authorized IB school, PYP, MYP, and IBCP. So and it's an advantage for my school actually as well, because I work well with my PYP coordinator about the impact of this online learning to the implementation of IB learner profiles. And I thought I'm going to have difficulties in gathering the data, especially during the online learning. We find difficulties for the students to submit their tasks, and surprisingly, the parents allowed the students to join this research, and I end up actually with many data. And as like what Carol said, I try to make it simple. So I read some research journal about statistics, and then okay, let me simplify it by myself, and I open Excel, and then I try to categorize it, and that's what I do, and then I put it in my report draft, and I don't actually how it's going to be works well. I'm waiting for Dr. Wolf input on my research, but that's what happened to my research.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, well, I feel like if I remember right, it's impressive, you know, and anyone who did a study the last 2 years, you know, we number one have to be impressed that you pushed through, and secondly, you know, I mean, the data are still good, right? I mean, this is going to happen again, something like this, whether it's another pandemic or I don't know, you know, school gets flooded, whatever. So all the data that, you know, are being collected about online learning and the impact of it. And I love it that there's, you know, character education. And last term I had someone drama, how drama can be taught online. And, you know, it's just not just math and reading. Like, how can we keep kids exposed to the entire integrated curriculum? And so, you know, that's why I'm glad that so many of you just pushed forward and, you know, instead of, you know what, I'm going to come back in 2 years when this is, you know, back to normal. Yeah. So thank you, Desi. Luciana, where'd you go? There you are. Yeah. What do you introduce yourself? Talk about what your ideas are.
Hello, I'm Luciana. I live in Mexico City, and I've been working all my life in IB school. So Ahmed, whenever you have a question, please don't hesitate to ask. Good luck in that. I have experience in the PYP and the MYP. And this is the first time ever that I'm working in a non-IB school. So it's hard, like the change. And I'm not sure what my question would be, because I'm having a hard time choosing a topic for my research. And I think this is the hardest part of all, because everything else will flow. But that actually in choosing a topic and asking my research question, I'm having a very, very hard time. So yeah.
Are you free to practice IB principles?
Yes, I am. So yeah, the school is very open. They don't really have a whole school system as such. They just
so if
go,
you, you know, if you had another teacher bestie, you know, what I'm thinking is like what an impact IB principles make on achievement or something like that. But, you know, think about it. Well, like I said, it'll come to you, you know, and so once you get that idea, then like all the 5910 have said is it's important to keep it narrow, something you can measure. That's the other thing. It has to be measured. So, you know, do students enjoy, I don't know, have to think of something, but, you know, yeah, like I said, you have to be able to, do they understand? Well, is that measurable? Well, they did well on test. Well, is that, you know, all about, okay, is that the test? Or so anyway, you'll get to there. But yeah, that's the first thing that popped in my head was, okay, if you're free to introduce IB principles in your classroom and then your teacher bestie doesn't, you know, you kind of got to stay there, but we got time. So I think Desi and Chipo wanted to, and then Ahmed again. So.
No, I'm done. I'm sorry, I forgot to put it down.
Oh, okay. Desi, did you, or you just still have your hand up? Okay. Okay. Yeah. I think Chipo's got her.
I have a question.
Right, so
I'm sorry.
I remember my grad supervisor said to me, choose something you're really, really passionate about and something that upsets you. or something that you feel there's a gap. So I'm really, really passionate about drama, and I felt that there's a gap between the application of drama in the classroom. And that's how I was able to come up with the topic. And then now with this research, I felt really strongly about English. But the thing I wasn't struggling to navigate is the idea of masks and teaching language with students wearing masks and social distancing. So I put those two together. So something you really, really love and something that makes you angry. You put those together.
Yeah, great. Yeah, very good. Let's see, I saw a hand.
That's a good suggestion. Thank you.
Yeah,
That's
Maria.
perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, to add on, absolutely. I was going to say something completely similar. Do what you feel passionate about, but also what, like your professor said, upsets you, right? And then ask yourself, why? Why is this happening? What are the variables that are impacting this outcome? And then just keep narrowing down, keep asking why until you can focus on one single variable and then just, go for it.
Yeah, and again, the purpose is not to save the world, change education, for this, it is design, conduct, and analyze. So, if, and the other thing is, you may only get 8 students participating. That's okay. You tell in your study it's a limitation, it's fine. So, it's not, it could be, hi, Kitty. We don't want it to be overwhelming because it doesn't need to be. You're not getting paid for this, right? It's not your job. So, so start with something you're passionate about because it's so hard. You better like what you're studying, right? Or you better want to solve a problem. It's just you may not. So, there's a lot of acceptance that comes along like, well, that didn't work out, but that's okay. It's a limitation. I can overcome it. Rasha, did you have a question?
Yes, doctor. I have take a screenshot from a group on Facebook. They put this like discussion form 5%, by 5% from the whole course. Unit 1 project plan. May I have I hope that the 8 minutes remain that is enough to answer this question. What does that mean, Unit 1 project plan? I have this one. I don't know if it's clear, but I can read it for you.
Oh, 5% of your grade.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you miss some of the discussion forums, it's not going to kill you. It's
Okay.
a very small part of your grade.
Okay.
Yeah.
Unit 1 plan. Unit 1 project plan 15%.
Yeah. So that's 5470. No, that's our class. Okay. So I don't remember that. Did y'all do that project?
Yeah, I remember that in the beginning where you had to we had to write about 3 different dimensions: the research project and the portfolio, and how we were going with each one, and our plan to get them completed with like a timeline with the dates.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right. It's a spreadsheet. Yes. Okay. Yeah. I didn't grade it, so yeah. So you just
totally fine.
I almost think it's a gimme, because now in my dissertation we had a plan and they held us to it. And if you said by the end of this term, 8 weeks, I'm going to have all my data collected, and you didn't, you failed that term. So it was like, so just don't tell me you're going to have that done. And if you do, great. And if not, but this project plan is like, does it make sense? Are you thinking through each of the things you're going to have to do? Because, if you forget something, you're like, oh, shoot, I didn't send an informed consent. So I can't actually use any of these data. So yeah, that's what that plan is. And again, I mean, your students, your peers grade it. So that's what that is, but it's a big part. Yeah. Oh. And you just want it to make sense and to include all the things you think you're going to need to do and when. It's it's another way to keep you on track too.
Okay, I have a question. Let's say this is my first time to meet a doctor like Dr. Wolf, that she has regular meeting weekly ones. So I can ask her. There is plenty of chance to have answers to my questions. What about if I, God forbidden, I hope to meet Dr. Wolf again. But what about if I have an instructor like what I faced during the last 5 terms? They are like just grading our work, but I know nothing, just the picture. So who will answer my concerns?
Hopefully your instructor will, but I'm always here too. I do keep in contact with former students. I mean, sometimes I can't help them, like, hey, I can tell you what I would do, but your instructor's the one that's going to grade it. But I'm always happy to help. But when you get to 5470 and 5910,
yeah.
Our new department chair is, in fact, I'm evaluating instructors who have applied to teach 5470 and 5910. So what it was before to this last term, you have a doctorate, you can teach 5910 and 5470, and that is not the case anymore. You have to apply to teach them because the quality of some of the instructors was just not what it needs to be for a capstone course. I mean, there is much more work for me as an instructor in the capstone courses than 5270, except I got double the number of students. But so the quality is definitely going to improve by the time you get there. So your instructor will be willing to help you, or else they will not be an instructor in that class, because I'm the evaluator. So if I get an idea that Rasha keeps asking this question and Jim Bob isn't answering, Jim Bob won't be an instructor next term. But again, I'm always here unless they fire me. I don't think they will, but does that help?
Thank you. Yes, thank you.
Okay. Okay, I think it was Chipo and then Neri. Oh, Maria, did you want to say something? I'm sorry.
Yes, actually. From my experience, because I have kept in contact with my peers in my former classes, and we're all, some are in research and some of us are now in our capstone course, and we all have different professors, but we've noticed that our professors, like, they will immediately respond to us. They will, if we have any questions or any concerns, they'll reach out to us. And I've been blessed with Professor Wolf, who emails and does these video meetings, which is amazing. You know, I wish I had these in my other courses, but you know, once you do get to research and your capstone course, yes, your professors are going to be there. They're going to answer the questions. They are proactive. One thing is, but you know, there are going to be professors that are going to ask for more than other professors, is what I learned actually this morning, because one of my former peers, her professor's asking her, she's in research, and her professor is asking her for extra elements that my professor, actually most of the capstone most of the capstone peers most of the capstone students didn't receive with their research professors. So we're all like, you're getting this request from your professor? Like, we didn't get that when we were in research. But yeah, but you know, in terms of having that active interaction with your professor, don't worry about it. It's going to be there. So yeah.
Yeah,
because we know you're stressed out, right? So
yeah. Thank you, Maria. No, look, to be honest, all of them are answering me immediately. No, I mean, when you see your doctor, like now in Teams, you know, I know doctor, I have conversation with her. Yeah, make a bit this. No, they answered me immediately.
Yeah, actually.
And they're actually a lot of my caps, well, Dr. Wolf, who is my capstone professor, she, from day one, and not only my professor, but also other students who are in capstone, they tell us, if you want to meet, we are more than willing to schedule a meeting and make it happen. Mm-hmm. So you will get the option to meet virtually with your professor.
Yeah. So
and
with
I feel
50,
like,
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I feel like if you also want to meet with your research professor as well, as long as you make the request, I would feel that your teacher wants you to succeed, so they will go the extra mile to make that meeting with you.
Fabulous.
Yeah. So last term, I had a weekly Teams meeting with 5910, and it was the same 3 people, and it was a chance for us just to talk. And so this term I said, I think they feel obligated. So I stopped the weekly meeting. And so that was one of the questions I wanted to ask you 5910 students. Would you have enjoyed a weekly office hours? Because 5270 gets that. My 5010 gets that. So, is that something that you would take advantage of, or would you rather just have the ad hoc, hey, can we meet? Because that's what I'm doing this term. Yeah. Won't hurt my feelings.
I personally, I would have loved to have a weekly meeting. Yeah, as long as we're not graded on attendance or punctuality, because I was traveling a lot in the last 3 months. So
you're lucky.
Yes and no, trust me. The requirements are awful. But anyway, but at the same time, I would have loved to, with not just in my capstone course, but with all of my courses, had that virtual weekly experience, because now I also feel more connected to my professor, and I feel like, wow, my professor really cares. My professor's there for me. It's just different. But so I think that students, especially at the capstone course and the research course, would appreciate these virtual meetings.
Okay, then I will put them back in. I really missed them. And, I knew these 5910 kids, because, 3 of them always, but I'd have like 4 or 5, pop in, and I got so close to them, and I've missed that, this term with 5910. I'm seeing some of you for the first time, like, oh, wow, now I got a face with the name. So I will put that back in place, for next term, because I know the reason I do these is when my dissertation, my whole doctoral studies were online. I not once saw an instructor, a professor. And so I knew when I came in here, hey, that's something I, as a relationship person, need. So thank you for that assessment. So I will add those back in. Yeah.
I'm sorry for interrupting. I really have to go, but thank you very much for your time, for your advice.
That's so
for being here.
Lucia.
Yeah, I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay. I am going over time. For me personally, we can stay as long as you want. And I did have the intention of showing Evernote. So I don't know how many 5910, 5270 want to stay on to do that. 5270, if you feel like you want to see that, and 5910, if you're willing to do that. But I think I've been talking too much. So, so Luciana.
Luciana, thank you very much. Can you please share your email? If I won't bother you, I'd like to ask about something related to the PYP and MYP.
For sure, yeah. I'll leave it here in the chat. And,
I don't know. Can y'all chat? If you're guests, no. Yeah, if you're guests, you can't chat. So put it in the course forum.
Yep. Will do.
Yeah, so Ahmed, you can start a thread in the course forum that says, hey, I just got hired to teach IB, if you're comfortable with a WhatsApp or whatever you want to say.
Ahmed, also, I'm not in your course, but I'm a PYP coordinator. I have been for like 8 or 9 years, so I'm also happy.
Thank you.
So
maybe I'll be looking for a teacher at some stage. So.
Yeah. No, thank you. Because for me this week, my whole life changed it from the beginning of the course. Really, it was a big experience for me since my first grade of portfolio, which was like very good. And then it was my first, because it's my 10th course, and it was like what happened? Is it my portfolio really? And yeah, after that, I got some guidelines which really changed my portfolio to the better. It was really different. And also, after knowing more about the techniques, I was like, why I'm a traditional teacher? Because I've been working in a public school for 4 years here in China. And the curriculum is a little bit 100% traditional. And I'm the same person every day. I'm the same person, like waking up, even sometimes I give like 10 classes, the same lesson plan. Because here they are learning English after the 3rd grade. Which is really and even for me it's been like 3 years, And then the next week, like the third week of the course, I applied for 5 schools. The fourth week, 4 interviews. The last week, I got the second interview. And actually, I had like some international school, but the IB was like my goal. Actually, I got the interview. I got some articles from week 7 yesterday. Yeah, 2 days ago, some articles from here, some articles from here. I start because I had no IB experience actually. But for me, it was like a big goal. I really wanted it. And yeah, my principal actually was a really nice person. He asked me some technical question, like more than 10 actually. Was like, wow, so this is a sudden exam for me. Why didn't you tell me in advance to prepare? But yeah, it was almost like 80% of them were fine for me. And I say, okay, that's fine. We will send you the contract. Yeah, okay. So the whole course actually for me was really different. And that's why I'm so interested to know some guidelines and some experiences, because really when I heard from Dr. Wolf about how can I enhance my portfolio with my personal experience, with my strong reflection. Before I used to use my reflection, but I give more priority to the theory and to analyze it and to explain it. But now I give more experience to reflect it in my class. And actually, that's why I started to think about myself. Yeah, I'm a traditional classroom teacher. I do. I didn't see that before. Now I really see myself as just a traditional teacher. So that's why I'm a little bit interested in different experiences to know more, to gather more different resources. So thank you, all of you.